roots giving.
Wow.
It's very beautiful to consider ourselves as a tree, and to speak about roots as an essential element for giving, as an essential element. In order to be able to go out and give to other people, we need first to go down, so that in that case we also elevate ourselves. We go down, we become grounded, we become rooted, we connect back with the earth, so that then, as we are nature, we are part of nature, we were born in the natural code, we always need to think and never forget that we are one with nature. So by the time we root ourselves, we are creating a foundation. We are placing our bricks before being able to build something, before being able to build even a connection with other people, or to interact with the universe outside there. And we are just becoming stable. Our base is just like the essential part of a triangle that has the bottom part, the floor part, and in order to elevate ourselves to the upwards element, in order to channel, in order to become a vessel to radiate and receive back from the sky, from above, we need to have our feet solid into the ground. We need to be balanced, and by doing that, then we are able to give on a soul level, because we are not giving out our imbalance. We are able to be standing, and we're also able to receive any sort of attack that can come from other people, any arrow, because especially in shamanism, when people are sending you bad energy, they can have any shape, like arrows that are coming towards you, like physical objects that energetically are coming to you. And once your roots are stable, you are able, of course, you will receive these arrows. They are not going away, but being in your roots that of course are made of love, because love has a powerful aspect of protection. When you are rooted in love, you are creating a sort of energetic cocoon around yourself, so then every attack doesn't take the element of growing inside yourself. Then of course there may be moments when you are tired, when you are out of balance, so those arrows enter. And so that's why during the process of healing in shamanism, this is where you would extract that sort of energy that is coming into your energetic field, in your aura. Also because when there are bad energies from other people, we can have holes in our aura. We can have gaps where basically our energy is going out, and so we are tired. We can manifest any sort of disease. We feel that we are not well in general, because we have a hole in our aura. We can have an overactive field of energy where things just needs to be balanced down, just needs to be calmed down. So there could be this both element where we just need to be back to our rooted and balanced way of working and being and interacting with other people, so that what we are giving is something that is coming out from a place of love and calmness and stability.
I think it also kind of goes into how the healing power of nature and going into nature to be a part of it in a way that society now doesn't really appreciate. The world we live in now, we're all quite disconnected from nature. I wouldn't say I am, because I love forests and make an effort like to go there regularly, and I definitely just, you feel so different, and there's such a healing power there. And I do think that if everyone had access to that and could prioritize that, I think everyone's overall mood and outlook on life would be much more uplifting.
and we owe everything to trees because we are breathing and
Exactly.
the oxygen comes from tree. So also by, for example, that makes a big difference also when we are doing something like meditation. If we start, the majority of people says, I meditate because I want to relax, because I want to get the stress away from my life, because I want to feel well. But when we start any action from a place of ego, from a place of self, even if people think, but this is just self-love. Yes, true. But if we start, for example, to meditate, dedicating the whole action to nature, I have the intention, I am meditating, dedicating whatever I'm doing to nature, then it means that what you are doing, it becomes a mission of your soul. So you are dedicating this to the universe. And as a return, as an exchange back, then you feel relaxed and then you feel out of stress.
Yeah.
So it's just shifting the whole perspective while you're doing something. I'm doing this because of the universe. I'm dedicating this to the universe.
Yeah.
And as a result, as a consequence, I'm just feeling less stressed.
Yeah.
And that means that the process may also be quicker, because I'm not concentrating the whole process on the ego. I'm not concentrating the whole process of an action that would be just for my own benefit in general. Because whatever is nurtured and created in us is becoming a seed for our future generations that can come directly from us, because we are having children, or because we are interacting with someone who is generating other human beings in general, because the concept of time is not something that is linear.
Yeah.
So we are not before what is coming in future. Everything is happening now, everything is happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So there were not past lives, past people before us. They are we are just in a circular way, so everything is happening at the same time. But if we need, of course, to consider that in a more traditional way of thinking the time, which is the wrong one, we are coming before our future generations. We look at us, they will have wounds in their energetic field because of us, because of what we are creating. So they will need to work on us. So that's why it's beautiful to consider ourselves as roots, as something that is creating the solid ground for future human beings and plants and animals as well in the universe to develop and take place. So we are having a huge impact. It's just like when we are trying to dig the soil that is dry, or dig a soil that is too wet. Then this is affecting the time and how fruits will grow in future.
Exactly.
Because we need then to spend more time to make that soil suitable for new plants to grow, for new deeds and gestures from a more symbolical point of view to grow. Because then by the time these people in future, our future generation, will need to heal those wounds, it will be their sacred action of repairing these wounds with the element of gold in their consciousness. So that will be part of their healing too. So it's not necessarily negative that we are going to create something that will be wounds for future, because it's exactly through wounds that we have an opportunity of development, that we have an opportunity of growth and awakening. So a wound is just simply ringing the bell to say to you, you have now an opportunity to wake up, and you're going to do that digging deeper into your pain, into your soil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm just so entranced by everything that you're saying. I think as well, it makes you, when speaking about the ancestral element, it makes you so aware of your influence no matter what you're doing. So if you can show up and be yourself in every situation, authentically you, what kind of influence do you want to have on people? How do you want people to feel when they're in your presence, you know? Because as you were talking about, it was when you said, talking about if we're friends with people who are having children or interacting with children, even just that, like, how do you want to be remembered? I remember things from when I was really young. So I remember people from when I was really young. It's like, how do you want someone that's really young to remember you, or what would they think of you? And
to consider also the planet as mother, as we are talking about children. That's why we consider Mother Planet, Mother Earth,
Gaia.
And Gaia. And that's why when we are doing something, we are doing this for our mother, for nature. That's why we are the children, and then everyone that is connected with us, they are part of the branches of the tree.
Yeah.
So everyone that we're meeting, their leaves, their flowers. What happens with birds? Birds are normally taking the seeds away from one place to the other one, and it's where, for example, we have flowers in areas where they would not even grow. Some years ago, an amazing sunflower growing on my windowsill.
Lovely.
And that's absolutely something that could just be seen as a miracle, because I'm in the shadowy part of the square. It would have not been possible at all to have a tall sunflower growing over there. But the beauty of that, it was that the symbol of the sunflower for me was connected to a pilgrimage that I did, where I have to go and find a field of sunflowers as a shamanic pilgrimage, because shamanic pilgrimage are again another opportunity where you experience difficulties, challenges, and so you grow, and so you learn something. So it's an initiation. Happened on the day that I started Invisible Caims, that was connected with this beautiful sunflower. And also the day I started Art and Spirituality Center, I had a yellow thistle growing on the same windowsill, and the yellow thistle is a relative of the sunflower.
Wow.
They are part of the same family. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
Everything's
coming
connected.
exactly
Yeah.
coming from nowhere as a symbol there to tell you, you are planting seeds. You have planted seeds actually, and this is the fruit. This is the flower that is growing. So that's why the miracle of healing, when it's happening, it's something that is a sign, and it's saying to us, this is not random. It means something, and it means something so important.
Definitely. Sundance, self-sacrifice. Okay.
So
Oh no.
before it was number 5, now it's number 6.
Oh,
Self-sacrifice is not something that needs to be read in a negative way. First of all, it's the card number 6. So 6 is a number that is in the middle between the scale of 0 and 9. So you are just sacrificing. You're just sacrificing your ego for the benefit of others, first of all. So it's just again shifting the perspective and shifting, changing the reason why you are doing something. So I'm sacrificing a wish, which doesn't mean necessarily I don't need to fulfill that wish, but why am I doing something? I'm doing something for others, so that then it will come back as an exchange, that you receive something. So again, that element of self identified as an ego disappears. So it just is just absorbed into the universe. You are just placing yourself at service for others. You are sacrificing something that is just I actually want to achieve something right now for my pleasure, for the glory, or for any reasons that is just coming from the ego. Because in order to have that, but of course coming from a different, as a reward that is coming from the universe, I'm just taking another road, so that I'm doing something for others, so that then when the others are happy, I am fulfilled as well. Because when you are following your soul mission, when you are embodying your Ikigai, which is actually your Ikigai that is coming to you, you are not choosing your Ikigai. It's already there, it's already present, it's already in your family, in your ancestors. So you're simply saying, okay, I'm ready to follow that. So you have the spirit that is coming to you, who is showing to you what you need to do. And it might be that you may sacrifice ideas that were in your schedule right now, in order for you to do something, so that you can create bigger roots for the future. And then of course the rewards that you are having back might also be even bigger than what you were expecting. Because when we are acting on a self base, on an ego base, the self is small. If you act on a universal base, it's huge. So it means that then your dream can also become bigger. Basically, I'm doing something and I'm getting at least a small part in return. But if we decide to work considering that as an ideology, so which is something that of course we are just tuning and channeling back directly from the source. So we deserve a huge prosperity from that point of view, from what we are doing, because we are dedicating something to the mother again. So we are not limiting ourselves to our ego, to ourselves, to our mind, that would just get something that is what is worth for us to receive back. So we are not putting any borders. We are just saying we are doing something for the benefit of the universe, of other people. So we are doing that on a universal level. And so what would need to be gotten in return is the huge prospect of prosperity, of abundance on a larger scale. So again, we put down all the walls, which doesn't mean necessarily to have something in return that is huge, because when we are receiving something big in return, we have more resources that we can use for others. So again, in that case, what we are getting, we just put back in the hands of the universal mother, in the hands of Mother Earth, so that at least it goes back to the hands of spiritual people that are doing this for the benefit of others. And the prosperity doesn't still remain in the same hands of those small people and few people that we just would love to perceive goals that are not for the benefit of others in general. So it's nice that it's connected with a dance that is dedicated to the sun.
Yeah.
So the sun is the element of light, which we are normally dedicating our days, because we are getting the light coming from there, which doesn't mean necessarily that we are not paying homage to the moon, which is the shadow side, because both elements are important, but when we are dancing in the dance, we are dancing in the light, so we're not hiding anything. So it's not a self-sacrifice. It doesn't mean hide your own wishes, hide your own perspective, hide your own requests that you have in life, but show them openly. Show them to the sun, show them to the world, simply in a way where you are showing them as your own wishes are the same wishes of the world.
It is more of that it means like sacrifice the things that you are hiding, like reveal it all. So like what you're saying, so it's like sacrifice the feeling that you have to be, that you have to change who you are. Sacrifice that. It's not sacrifice yourself. It's like sacrificing the doubt in the ego.
And sacrificing also choices where it may be like why do I need to print 10 pages in paper, and of course being connected with the environmental aspect of, and the reason why you should sacrifice your desire of printing 10 pages and asking yourself, is it really needed? Being mindful, ask yourself, is it really important to do that because, for example, I need to share this material with other people because I'm teaching, I need to pass documents to other people, they need to have them physically, or I need to study, so I need to use this element for other people. But otherwise, asking yourself, is it really needed?
And even just by asking yourself that is taking a step that so many people don't even take. So many people don't even think. We just press the button because it's so easy to do.
Yeah, exactly. Or is it really needed to go and buy a new plastic bottles which contain something? Or of course it's more comfortable. It takes less time instead of taking the same container and go in a place and refill it. It takes more time, it takes more effort, but it makes a huge difference. And that difference, of course, as we know, it's changed, it's connected to whatever we're doing.
Because obviously lives are very busy, and I think that's the biggest kind of, not excuse, but for people not being environmentally aware, is because it is time consuming, but we want to have an earth to be around. So if you are like printing lots of things, maybe do that thing where you can donate money and it grows a tree, or you can pick a tree. So that's to say, it's not like don't do any of these things, but it's like, how can you give back if you do those things?
And also self-sacrificing the shadow, which means the sun is coming and is shining, so the sun is out, the light is on something, and at the same time the object has its own shadow in the backwards. The black and white aspect, they are both present at the same time. We never need to self-sacrifice or deny the shadow, because that the shadow needs to be there. We are taking out our shadows with us every day, also the sun, because it's exactly from the mistakes that we learn, and it's from our darkest moment that we are able more to go towards the light. Without that, we wouldn't be able to see the light at all.
Like seeing the light, that idea, you appreciate the light so much more if you've been in a dark room or in a period of darkness. If you've ever been in like in a wardrobe or something, not a wardrobe, okay, but like a closet or something, and the light goes off and you're like fumbling around like trying to find it, you're so grateful for it when you find it, when it comes on. But ordinarily, if the light had been on in that place, you probably wouldn't notice it, you know? I don't know where I'm going with this analogy.
Change.
Oh my gosh. These are all aligning for me, like today.
Rite of passage are something that are absolutely essential in general in life and in shamanism. It's the way a shaman becomes really shaman. Has to be something that is very intense, where the old part of you is changing, because they cannot coexist at the same time.
Yeah.
You had to have your old part, otherwise it would have been not possible to have an element that is developing into something new. So it's always to consider, don't be ashamed, don't be sorry about for what you were before. That was absolutely needed, because that is giving you the opportunity to grow and to change into something else. Change is something that we are always that we are against and we are fearful about, we are fearful of, but it's change is something that is absolutely natural, because life is impermanent, because everything is changing from one status and a few seconds afterwards into something else. So the change is something that many people want to fight against, so they stay in their mind and they keep repeating, I don't want to change, I don't want things to change, I don't want to quit things. But by doing that, they are creating a resistance, they are creating an obstacle, they are creating a barrier, and so they are fighting against the spirit of that event that is coming to you, because the spirit of the change, of the event of change, is coming to you, and fighting against the spirit is never going to be something pleasant in general. Open ourselves, just being open to what is happening, and also being aware that the change might not be as bad as we think. It might actually be even better, even something that we are not dreaming of. It may be in the rite of passage that it means that something needs to die. Yeah. So it's really connected with the element of death. And death and life are again shadow and light at the same time, so they are connected. People don't want to consider the death of people, the death of animals, the death of plants, and they see that something as the end of something. Yeah. But it's just a transmutation, transforming something from one state into the other one. That's what happens in a rite of passage. It may be hard, because you may be asked to go through something that is not pleasant, but it's where actually the real transformation is happening. It's a catharsis. It's like from the bug that is becoming a butterfly. Of course, it's a process of birth. Something is dying and something is giving birth at the same time. So it may be connected to an act of pain, an act of sorrow that may be, but the sorrow and the pain are only present if you are there and you want to be attached to your old image, to something that you don't want to let go. So by doing that, by having that attachment, then of course you're having pain. If you're just keeping your hands open and you are just open to let things go and flow, then of course you may have a little bit of sadness in your heart because something is disappearing from your life. But you're opening up to something new, because otherwise that space in yourself, in your own area, in your own life is occupied by something. And when there is something that is occupying a space, then something new cannot enter.
Very interesting. Can I ask, why do you think, when you were speaking about life and death being the light and shadow, why do you think that people are so afraid of death? Because the way you were talking about it was like this, it's just part of a transformation. but there's such a, you know, it's like the unspoken thing all the time. Like, you never know what's going to happen. But in our culture, there's such a fear around death, and no one really talks about it until it happens. And I've always been curious as to why, because the flip side is life, which we're in every single day. People forget.
But that's like, it's part of those taboos of society.
Yeah.
The taboos of women with a period that cannot do something. That has been traditionally passed by from one generation to the other one. They identifying that as the end. Something is finishing and it's it, end of the game, end of the story. Thinking that when you are dreaming, going to bed, it's a temporary death that is happening because you are falling asleep. When you are breathing in, you are absorbing reality, you are absorbing the image. When you are breathing out, you are creating the form. So you are giving life, and absorbing is death. So it's something that on a subtle level is already happening in our daily life all the time, and we totally ignore that.